BPC-157 and TB-500 have exploded in popularity, but most people still don't understand the one thing that makes them so interesting. It's not just recovery, it's not just inflammation, it's that these two peptides seem to work on different parts of the healing process. And when these two signals are combined, that's where the biology gets really interesting. So in this video, I want to break down what they are, how they work, and why the synergy is the part that most people miss. If you're someone who's spent any time in recovery medicine, performance medicine, or longevity circles, you've probably heard these two names a lot: BPC-157, TB-500. And usually when people talk about them, it's the same kind of list of benefits we hear: faster healing, better recovery, less inflammation, better performance. But honestly, I don't think that's the most helpful way to understand them. As a physician, I think the better question is this: what are these compounds actually doing biologically in your body? Because once you understand that, the whole conversation gets a lot more useful. And I want to clear up one important point right away before we go ahead. A lot of people use TB-500 and TB-4 like they mean the same thing. They do not. TB-4 or thymosin beta-4 is the naturally occurring peptide, while TB-500 is a synthetic derivative related to TB-4 biology. Now that distinction matters, and we'll go into detail in the other videos about this. Because when I think about this stack clinically, I really think in terms of BPC-157 plus TB-4. So let's start with BPC-157. Now BPC-157 stands for Body Protection Compound 157. It's a short amino acid peptide, and it's associated with protective compounds found in the stomach. And that makes sense because your gut is under stress all the time. Acid, inflammation, alcohol, anti-inflammatory drugs, poor diet, stress, infection. Your digestive system is constantly taking the hit. So one reason BPC-157 got so much attention is because it appears to have a protective and repair-oriented role, especially in the gut. But sometimes this is where people often oversimplify it. A BPC-157 is not just a gut peptide. Yes, the gut connection matters a lot, but what people more interested in it was the broader conversation around things like blood flow, tissue repair, nitric oxide signaling, and vascular support. So the way I think about BPC-157 is it helps create a better healing environment. It helps improve blood flow. It helps support newer vessel formation, and it helps improve the tissue protection. It helps support the gut barrier, which matters more than most people realize, because if your gut is inflamed, leaky, or not functioning well, everything downstream gets harder. Absorption gets worse, inflammation goes up, recovery gets worse. So to me, BPC-157 is really about helping the body create better conditions for healing. And then that brings us to the other half of this stack. Now let's talk about the second part of the stack. Most people online say TB-500, but again, I want to be precise here. TB-500 and TB-4 or thymosin beta-4 are not the same molecule, as explained earlier. And I prefer to think in terms of TB-4 in this combination because TB-4 is the fuller biological story here. Now TB-4 is involved in things like actin regulation, cell migration, tissue remodeling, angiogenesis, and wound healing. Actin matters because actin is one of the key structural proteins that helps cells move and respond to injury. When tissue gets damaged, your body does not just need blood flow, it also needs cells to move into that area, respond to that damage, and start rebuilding. That's where TB-4 biology becomes so interesting. So if BPC-157 helps create the right environment for healing, TB-4 helps drive that actual repair response. Now, that is a very different role, and that difference is exactly why this combination gets so much attention. The simplest way I can explain this is like the BPC-157 helps build the roads, while TB-4 helps send in the workers to build that road. Because healing is not just one thing. You don't heal just because inflammation drops. You don't heal just because blood flow improves. And you don't just heal because there is a repair signal that gets turned on. Real healing usually needs multiple things happening at once. Along with better environment, it needs better circulation, better signaling, better tissue repair response, better immune regulation, and better cellular repair. That's why this combination is so interesting. Now, these compounds are not interchangeable, but they are complementary to each other. One may help the body reach the damaged area more effectively. The other may help the body respond more effectively once it gets there. And that's why the synergy starts to make sense. So where does this get interesting in clinical use? It's useful in soft tissue healing, in repair, tendon repairs, ligament repair, muscle injuries, overuse patterns, or chronic irritation to the joints. And that why so? Because soft tissue healing usually needs better blood flow, lower inflammatory stress, and better repair signaling all at once. Another use of this combination is post training recovery or performance medicines. Because if recovery is incomplete, performance starts dropping. People fatigue faster, their exercise tolerance goes down, and they do not bounce back the same way as they used to. Another area of the use of this stack is the post-viral recovery, especially in patients who feel like their system just has not come back like before. They are inflamed, they have deconditioned, and if they feel sick all the time. And then, of course, there's the neurological side, which is a huge topic on its own. Because with brain injury or concussion, it's not just the initial hit that matters, it's the inflammatory cascade after it. It's the lingering of the neuroinflammation inside the brain. It's the incomplete repair. So when people talk about these peptides in brain recovery conversations, what they are really talking about is whether you can support tissue protection, inflammation control, and repair signaling at the same time. I also think the gut peptide gets overlooked way too often. If BPC-157 really helps support gut barrier integrity, that matters far beyond digestion, because if the gut is inflamed and permeable, recovery is harder. Inflammation tends to stay higher, and also absorption tends to be worse. The whole system is operating under more stress. So one of the reasons I think BPC-157 is such an interesting part of the stack is that it may improve the internal repair. I also think the gut piece gets overlooked way too often. If BPC-157 really helps support gut barrier integrity, that matters far beyond digestion. Because if the gut is inflamed and permeable, recovery is harder, inflammation tends to stay higher, absorption tends to be worse. The whole system is operating under more stress. So one of the reasons I think BPC-157 is such an interesting part of the stack is that it may improve the terrain internally and not just locally. And then when you repair that with the broader repair biology of TB4, you can see why people become interested in this combination. Again, not because it's magic, but because it makes a biological sense. That's the biological logic of this stack. Not hype, not a list of claimed benefits. Two compounds, two different roles, but one coherent mechanism. Now, one thing I want to say clearly before we close. There is no FDA-approved standard protocol for using BPC-157, TB-500 or TB4 in the way people discuss them online. This is not a conversation about miracle drugs, and it's not an invitation to self-experiment casually. If you're thinking seriously about peptides, you need to remember 4 things that matter. 1. Understand the biology, not the list of claimed benefits, the actual mechanism, what is each compound doing, and why is it. That's what this video was about. Number 2. Measure something. If you are trying to improve recovery, inflammation, or performance, you need to have a baseline data before you start. It could be labs, functional markers, something objective. Otherwise, you have no idea if anything is working or not. Number 3. Source quality is non-negotiable. This is not the place for grey market shortcuts. Purity and contamination are real concerns over here. Number 4. This should be a physician-guided conversation because your body has to be taken seriously and you have to ask yourself, what are you treating? What are the risks? What else is going on in your system? That's how this needs to be approached and not just by self-approach or self-protocol yourself with any peptides. If you found this useful, in the next video, I'll break down the exact labs I had checked before starting any peptide-based recovery protocol or peptide dosing protocols and how I think about monitoring response over time. Let me know in the comments if that's something you want. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, live longer by living healthier. Thank you.